Hello and welcome to the webinar. I'm Chloe Rigby, editor of internetretailing.net, and I'd like to welcome you to today's webinar, the Retail Social Proof Barometer, how top retailers match up to consumer expectations. So over the next hour, I'll be talking to Tom Rickards, Account Director at Fresh Relevance, about what social proof is, why it matters, and how successful retailers are using it. So let me tell you a little bit about Tom. Tom Rickards is Account Director at Fresh Relevance. In this role, he works with commerce and travel industry brands such as Harvey Nichols, Time Out, Space NK, Molton Brown, and the MyOptique Group, all on their content personalization programs, both in email and online. So at the end of today's webinar, just let you know before we go into it, we'll be moving into a Q&A session. If you have a question to ask, then do drop those questions in during the course of the webinar. You'll see a chat box on the control panel on your screen. Send your question through that and we will aim to get to as many as we can today. And the session's recorded as always, so after the webinar finishes, we'll send out an email with a link in due course so that you can watch it again whenever is convenient for you. So Tom, welcome to the webinar.
Hi Chloe, and hi everyone. Thanks for having me.
Great. Do you want to maybe start by telling us a little bit about Fresh Relevance?
Yeah, absolutely. So yeah, before I jump into the report, I'll just give a very quick overview of who we are and what we do. So we're a comprehensive real-time personalization platform that collects data, analyze it, and then use it to personalize. So we help digital marketers achieve their ultimate goal, which is boosting customer loyalty and revenue by creating an optimized journey across all channels and devices. The platform gathers data wherever customers go and then brings it all together in one place with existing data showing real-time behavior and insights combined with the power to act on it. So our product features include cross-channel personalization, dynamic images, product recommendations, triggered emails, and of course social proof, which is what we're talking about today. We've got over 500 different websites using us, predominantly in retail and travel worldwide. And you mentioned a few of them that I'm working with, and yeah, you can see a few on this slide as well.
That's great. So Tom, today you're going to be talking about social proof. Can you tell us some more maybe about what that is and about some of the different forms that social proof can take?
Yeah, absolutely. So to explain, to start with, I'll give you two different examples. So when you're shopping on your local high street to get a new pair of trainers, you see two shoe stores straight right next to each other. One is bustling with people and the other one looks relatively quiet. Which one are you going to choose? Or when you're scrolling through Instagram to get the latest fashion inspiration, which post is likely to get your attention? The paid ads or your friend's post from her latest shopping spree? I think we all tend to be guided by the actions of others. This psychological phenomenon is described by the term social proof, a term which was first coined by Robert, I think it's Cialdini, I don't know if I'm pronouncing that right, but I think so, in 1984. But in a nutshell, when a person is in a situation where they are unsure of the correct way to behave, they will look to others for clues concerning their correct behavior. So you could also call it herd mentality, although social proof is probably a less sensitive phrase because I know some people aren't always happy when you say that they're acting like sheep. So I guess the question then is, why is it relevant for online retail? So there are several different forms of social proof, and in this webinar we'll focus on three essential ones for retail. So the first of those is wisdom of the crowd. That looks at product favorites among your customer base. So what is selling fast? What is creating a buzz on your website? It's a great tactic to create some FOMO and entice shoppers to take action. So effective tactics include showing how often a product was viewed or purchased recently, or how much stock is left. User social proof makes your customers your best marketers. So how are they using or styling your product? Which product features do they like best? And what do they think of your services overall? User-generated content and product ratings and reviews are definitely popular tactics here. And then celebrity social proof is another term for influencer marketing. You can reach new audiences by working with celebrities and benefit from their recommendations to their followers. So as consumers' shopping habits move steadily online, and they are less able to touch and try items as they would in store, they are more reliant on the feedback and recommendations of their peers. So here's just a few benefits of harnessing social proof in your marketing. Firstly, it's very cost effective, scalable tactic to acquire. You can grow and retain customers as it leverages content and data that you already have at your fingertips. It builds brand advocacy, as it makes shoppers feel part of your tribe by showing them what other customers love about your products. It also reduces returns by providing feedback from other customers and showing how your product looks and works in real life. Social proof helps shoppers discover popular items that they might like. It increases conversions by creating a sense of urgency and assuring shoppers that they're choosing the right product. And it provides your product development with valuable intel straight from the consumer's mouths.
That's great. So carry on. Tell us more about the Retail Social Proof Barometer. That's the research carried out. Do you want to tell us about that?
Yeah, absolutely. So, we all agree that social proof offers potential for retailers to make their products appear more appealing without changing anything about the product itself or the price. But what are the social proof tactics that consumers actually want, and which ones are most effective in converting shoppers, and how are the leading retailers harnessing them in their marketing? So to answer some of those questions, we embarked on the extensive research of matching web and email initiatives of 50 of the internet retailing UK top 500 retailers, with the opinions of 2,000 British consumers. So in the next kind of 20-30 minutes or so, I will present you our key findings. And if you'd like to access the full report, you can find it on our website. So please just go to freshrelevance.com/barometer.
That's great. Thanks, Tom. So user social proof, what's that all about?
Okay, so yeah, if I'll go into the different tactics in more detail. So user social proof, when making a purchasing decision, consumers look for unbiased sources of information. Shoppers are also more inclined to be influenced by the people most similar to them, their fellow customers. So product ratings and reviews increase consumer trust in your brand because they come directly from customers who have used your products. You can collect this authentic feedback from existing customers and display it alongside product information on the website and in emails to reassure shoppers as they research and compare options. And shoppers are definitely looking for this information. We actually found that nearly half, or 46% of consumers, will extensively research products and compare options ahead of actually purchasing. So what do consumers actually want? Well, our research reveals that customers view product star ratings as an increasingly important part of the consideration process. In our survey, only product details and shipping information were ranked as more useful. In fact, over half of the consumers look for star ratings when making a decision now. So also shoppers read not only one or two, but a whole number of reviews. Over a third, 37% of shoppers read between 3 and 4 reviews before they make a final decision to actually buy something. So the more that you can collect and display reviews in your marketing, the better. Retailers that don't provide customer feedback could even be damaging consumer trust. 30% of shoppers said they are skeptical of brands that fail to share product reviews, as it leads them to believe that they might even have something to hide. So the overall adoption of reviews on the website is good and meets customer expectations. Nearly 2/3 want them and 2/3 of retailers offer them. However, we found that adoption varies massively between the different sub-verticals. So beauty brands are leading the way in meeting customer expectations. with all of those surveyed providing reviews information on their website. 60% of jewellery or accessories and electronics brands currently share these details on their websites, but footwear and fashion brands are definitely lagging behind. Just over half of footwear brands surveyed actually provided reviews, and only 20% of the fashion retailers surveyed provided this information as well. So retailers that are failing to provide this information are missing out on valuable opportunities to make their marketing convert better. For fashion and footwear brands in particular, the consumer desire for reassurance that the item will look and fit as displayed is high. Not only could high return rates be reduced by providing this information, but customer reviews can also deliver valuable insights that can inform the design of future collections that hit the mark with customers again and again. So while the display of ratings and reviews online is solid, especially in the product detail page where more than half of retailers show them, adoption in emails is surprisingly very low. Only 8% of retailers actually show star ratings in their shopping recovery emails, and even fewer actually do it in their regular newsletters. So obviously with inboxes overflowing, brands have got a limited opportunity to capture recipients' attention. Since consumers rank ratings and reviews as key parts of the decision-making process, retailers across all verticals could be leaving potential buyers behind by omitting this information from bulk and triggered emails. So in some of my work with my customers, for example, I've actually seen sales uplifts of up to 39% from including stars in cart abandonment emails. So definitely something I'd be encouraging all of my clients and people that aren't my clients as well, everybody to be adopting. So one example, just as a nice one to look at on how you can boost conversions by emphasizing top-rated products from luxury cosmetics brand Space NK. So displaying a customer favorite prominently on the homepage just sparks interest by implying that it's worth looking at. Adding a rave review builds authority and trust and shows that your brand values the actual customer's input.
Right, so user-generated content, we've heard a lot about this, but what did you find out in your research?
Okay, so user-generated content, as you said, it's the perfect social proof tactic for a world driven by social media. Everybody loves taking photos, sharing stories about their everyday lives. So why not leverage this to let your loyal customers become your best marketers? On social media, loyal customers often become a brand's best marketers by offering up the latest looks and styles to inspire their peers. And what's more, customers trust posts and photos from fellow customers far more than content created by marketers. 1 in 3 shoppers prefer to see a product on real people as opposed to professional campaign shots. So many customers prefer to see a product worn or used by real people rather than professional product images. Sorry, there's just a police car or a fire engine running past me. Obviously, we are doing this live, so I might just wait for it to go past so you can hear me properly.
I think it's gone. We can hear you, don't worry.
Perfect. So yeah, the impact of this tactic definitely varies depending on your target audience. So interestingly, millennials in particular find user-generated content useful when making a purchase decision. Potentially because they grew up with social networks and they see photos and posts from their peers, I guess just as a part of essential for their daily lives. So adoption of UGC, user-generated content in emails and on the website is relatively low actually, with only 16% of retailers offering it. Again, beauty and electronics are leading the pack here, 30% of brands displaying customer content in their marketing. Footwear, fashion and jewellery are lagging behind. Social feeds can increase click-throughs from emails and online by highlighting the latest trends. So photos of real customers, increase engagement on product pages by helping shoppers imagine how they will look and feel when they wear your brand. It's definitely a win for customers who would ideally prefer to try on an item before they buy it. Retailers selling products like fashion, jewelry, and footwear could also reduce return rates by showing images of real people wearing the item on product pages. So showing UGC on web pages and in emails can help build a sense of community that retailers across all sub-verticals, and especially brands with a younger, more image-conscious customer base, such as trainer brands, for example, could definitely benefit from. So when we look at the actual adoption by marketing channel, again, email is definitely lagging behind. Just 4% of retailers actually display user-generated content in their welcome emails to new subscribers, and only 2% share it in their newsletter. So including photos of happy customers is such an easy way to make your messages feel more personal and less corporate. And today's technology makes it possible to easily pull social feeds into websites and in emails in real time with no manual work required. You can literally set that up in minutes, if not seconds, within our platform. So a really nice example from the photo equipment retailer Jessop's here. They showcase the best customer shots in their newsletter and credit the customers for their work. So here you can see a photo of the week taken by a customer using Jessop's photo products. So not only does this inspire customers with ways that they can use the equipment, but it also creates a sense of community by shouting out the customer for their good work.
So, so excuse me, the wisdom of the crowd. Tell us about what that is and how retailers can use that.
Absolutely. So when faced with the unknown, we tend to follow the logic that a group of people collectively makes better decisions than the individual. Telling consumers what others are purchasing adds urgency. It makes stock more desirable without actually changing anything about the product or the price. Just demonstrating that a product is popular with similar shoppers could be the crucial factor in preventing a bounce or an abandoned cart.
And
So
crowdsourced product recommendations, how does that work?
yeah, so offering different recommendations is a tactic, obviously, as old as retail itself. In physical stores, sales clerks have been trained to help close the sale and increase the average order value by suggesting products that the customer might like. Technology like ours now allows retailers to mimic this experience online. Using a product recommendation engine, marketers can suggest items based on a combination of crowdsourced data, business rules, social proof, and different AI rules as well. So for example, retailers can highlight most viewed or top rated products. The effectiveness of product recommendations can be increased by filtering them based on a customer's individual preferences. So when we look at crowdsourced product recommendations specifically, a popular and easy to implement tactic is showing shoppers your top sellers, products that are frequently bought together, other products customers tend to buy after viewing a certain product, and just top rated products as well. So when we asked consumers which types of product recommendations had persuaded them to make a purchase, more than 1 in 4 actually cited top rated products and top sellers. However, retailers are failing to capitalize on this opportunity to move customers towards a conversion. Just 1 in 5 recommended top sellers, and none of the surveyed brands suggested products based on average customer rating, which is definitely a real missed opportunity. Retailers across different verticals could be using product ratings and reviews to inform product recommendations and increase conversions. But even if we look at the top seller product recommendations, which are incredibly easy to implement, we can see that online adoption outside of the homepage itself is still low. Not to speak of email, where retailers are missing out on the opportunity to leverage the wisdom of the crowd in their shopping abandonment emails and newsletters to increase click-throughs and move customers towards the purchase. So a really nice example from another photo equipment retailer, Wex Photo Video. They engage customers straight away with product recommendations in their welcome emails. By recommending popular products is helpful for new customers who may not be familiar with your offering yet. So Wex welcomes new subscribers by sharing recommendations for frequently browsed cameras, and then this is supplemented with the rating stars to reassure those first-time shoppers.
So scarcity messaging, tell us about that. What do consumers say about scarcity?
Yeah, so consumers desire items more when they are popular or scarce. We're all driven by a phenomenon known as the fear of missing out, or FOMO, of course. So this is definitely good news for retailers. Marketers can encourage a sense of urgency by using real-time product data and stock levels to demonstrate scarcity. So we've all seen there aren't many left, or there's lots of people that are buying this at the moment. It definitely has an effect. It simultaneously taps into the consumer's FOMO. What if the product sells out before I have a chance to buy it? And a desire to follow the consensus. So, other people are buying it, so it must be good. But however, retailers are lagging behind customer expectations when it comes to information on remaining stock levels. So whereas almost half of consumers find it useful, very few retailers are providing this information at any stage of the purchase journey. So yeah, despite consumers' interest in the popularity messaging, only very few retailers were found to be using this on the website, and not a single retailer actually did so in their newsletters or in their shopping recovery emails. So definitely a mistrick there. Fast fashion brands in particular can benefit from adopting this tactic, as customers know that the inventory sells fast and is unlikely to be restocked. So Miss Pap used this really well. They add a good sense of urgency to the product detail pages by highlighting how often a product's been viewed recently. By reinforcing the sense of urgency at each stage of the purchase journey, the website guides customers naturally towards the conversion.
And celebrity social proof, tell us more about that. Sounds intriguing.
Yeah, so the celebrity social proof adds a sprinkle of stardust, I suppose, to the brand image, and comes in two different flavors. So paid endorsements and unpaid endorsements. So either a public figure endorses your brand in exchange for a fee, or a celebrity is spotted using your product simply because they like it. Influencer marketing is definitely incredibly hyped at the moment, and discussions about Fire Festival, obviously fueled by the recent Netflix documentary, have certainly helped give additional airtime to different influencer programs. But how far are marketers, and more importantly consumers, actually incentivized by influencer marketing? So our research has revealed that the power of influencers may actually be overrated, and that the tactic struggles with authenticity. So almost half of consumers say that they wouldn't trust any product information provided by influencers. In addition, so 2 in 3 consumers are neither more nor less interested in a brand if they saw a well-known individual that they respected and liked sporting a product online and offline. Only 10% have purchased a product based on an influencer recommendation. But where obviously this is effective, the power of influencers varies significantly depending on the actual target audience. So Generation Z is 4 times more likely than baby boomers to be interested in a brand using influencers. When it comes to the type of influencers that they follow, Generation Z are particularly receptive to influencers when it comes to how they look. So 1 in 3 are following beauty and fashion influencers. But consumers aren't that fussed, and brands aren't either. So we found that less than a quarter of retailers actually use influencers to help drive their own media marketing. So it's far from being a pervasive trend just yet. So while fashion and footwear retailers are showing influencer content in their emails and on their websites to some extent, beauty is lagging behind. So particularly those with luxury offerings might be missing out on the opportunity to add a touch of glamour and prestige by showcasing famous fans of their products. When we look at the adoption per channel, influencer content is used by around 1 in 10 retailers on the website and in their newsletters. So when determining your influencer marketing strategy, it's important to choose celebrities who your customers obviously aspire to. So jewelry brand Monica Vinader, they use celebrity style icons to build a story around its brand. They carefully selected public figures who align with their brand values and will resonate with their audience and introduce them on their homepage, the editorial section of their website, and in their welcome email series.
So you've highlighted there a lot of retailers and what they're doing well through the course of your research. But could you maybe tell us about the top three, the winners?
Yes, absolutely, the exciting bit. So obviously after we did all the data crunching, here are the retailers that came out on the top in our research. So Glasses Direct, L'Occitane, and then Karen Millen and The Body Shop are sharing the third place as they reach the same score for their online and email marketing efforts. Now, I should point out that this was a completely unbiased report, so it's amazing to see that we actually have two of the clients in the top tier there, Glasses Direct and Karen Millen. And it's interesting to see that two beauty retailers made it into the top three. We saw across our research that beauty brands seem to have embraced social proof tactics to a bigger extent than some other retail subverticals.
That's great. So do you want to tell us a bit more about Glasses Direct, who was your number one?
Yeah, absolutely. So the number one Glasses Direct, great clients of mine. Let's go into a bit more detail and explore how they're using social proof for maximum effect. So first of all, for those of you who don't know Glasses Direct, they were the UK's first and are the leading online prescription glasses retailer. They're renowned for their emphasis on innovation in the industry and introduced a couple of visionary services like the home trial, which lets you try frames in the comfort of your own home, or their virtual try-on, an AR feature which lets you see how frames look on your computer screen. So to bring in the same level of innovation to their marketing, they work with us, Fresh Relevance, to offer a personalized experience across their channels. So they're including highly personalized product recommendations and emails triggered based on behavior. They've done a really fantastic job to customize the entire customer experience and use social proof across tactics and channels to increase their conversions. So firstly, on their homepage, they offer highly personalized product recommendations based on preferred frame shape, color, and brand, as well as the shopper's gender. So these are enhanced by the rating stars there as well. They also prominently display their Trustpilot rating of 9.4, which is based on over 80,000 positive reviews. And they let their customers do the talking by featuring a selection of the positive reviews there. Next, on the product detail page, you'll find a whole arsenal of carefully balanced social proof tactics. So they leverage popularity and scarcity messaging by showing how many items are left in the respective frame color and how many other shoppers have looked at the item today. So shoppers know that they need to act quickly to avoid any disappointment. In terms of wisdom of the crowd, Glasses Direct recommends similar frames based on what other customers have purchased. The rating stars are prominently featured on the top of the page, and more detailed reviews can be found further down the page as well. So then next, actually looking at their newsletters, they let shoppers know which frames are causing a buzz on the website and build trust by recommending customer favorites. And then in their recovery emails, they increase conversions and click-throughs of their cart and browse abandonment emails by showing the rating stars of the viewed products themselves. And then in terms of the results, how does that actually impact their KPIs? Well, on the website, product recommendations account for 1.2% of their web revenue. And since choosing a more personal and social proof backed approach to email marketing, they've seen conversion rates double and a 20% increase in revenue per email. And then also their popularity messaging has had over 12 million web impressions so far. In fact, probably far more than that now. This is taken from our case study a couple of months back now, so I'm sure that number is definitely always increasing.
That's great. So you've talked to us about what retailers are doing really well, but how can other retailers improve what they're doing? Are there any simple steps that people can take?
There definitely are, yes. So, social proof doesn't always need to be a mysterious psychological tactic to persuade shoppers to choose your products. In fact, consumers see social proof as a crucial part of the buying process, as our research has shown. So some good action points then for other retailers to kind of get further up the scale. Well, there's a whole wealth of social proof tactics available to help marketers increase their conversions. Social proof doesn't have to mean expensive celebrity endorsements. In fact, consumers place more value on scalable, easy to implement tactics like customer reviews. User-generated content is another visually appealing alternative that builds consumer trust without the need to enlist celebrities or influencers. So they're easily scalable and can be deployed across e-commerce websites and email campaigns. This makes it a cost-effective way to increase sales across the board. You could be missing out by not providing live stock levels. While almost half, or 43% of consumers say that they are influenced by stock levels when making a purchase decision, only 8% of surveyed retailers displayed stock levels in their web or email content. Also, obviously consider mixing your product recommendations up a bit by recommending top-rated products and top sellers. And you're probably not even scratching the surface in email. So adding rating stars to cart and browse abandonment emails increases conversion rates by up to 39%. But only 8% of our surveyed retailers are actually using them. So given consumers' interest in this and other tactics, such as the real-time stock levels and UGC, you stand to really benefit from adding them to your email toolkit. Adoption of social proof in email might be slow because marketers fear it would require lots of manual effort to assemble the email content. However, marketing platforms today offer a really comprehensive set of tools to automatically pull real-time social proof content into emails and on web pages, which all includes product popularity, ratings and reviews, social feeds, and more. So do definitely please get in touch if you'd like to learn more. So really, in a nutshell, it's crucial to understand the tactics available and above all to leverage data to identify what's going to be effective in meeting consumer expectations. So if you want to kind of check where you are to help you score your current social proof efforts and identify your untapped potential, we've put together a little checklist. So you can find that on our website in addition to the report itself. So to download that one, please visit the URL freshRelevance.com/checklist. And really, if you do have any thoughts on the webinar or social proof in general, please do get in touch with me. All my contact details are there on the screen now. And yeah, thanks very much for listening. Hopefully I've left enough time for a few questions.
You certainly have. Thanks, Tom, for what I thought was a really interesting webinar with really interesting figures that I'm sure we'll be using elsewhere in future coverage. So
Thank you.
before we start in on our Q&A session, a quick reminder to anybody else who has a question on how to ask it. On the control panel on your screen, there's a chat box. If you write your question there, we will aim to get to as many questions as we can today. So first question, Tom, today. We'd like to include rating stars in our marketing emails, but we want to make sure that we won't promote products that just have 1 or 2 stars. Are there any ways to filter out low-rated items automatically?
Yes, is the short answer. There definitely are ways to do that. I can't speak for other providers, obviously, but within the integration that we have in our platform, we can plug into, the vast majority of different ratings providers out there. Trustpilot, I mentioned, FIFO, Bazaar Voice, Power Reviews, Yotpo, probably another couple that I'm forgetting. And within the rule sets that we have available in the system, you are able to select, only show products in this recommendation block that have, say, 3 or 4 stars or over. I did have a conversation with a client the other day who maybe thought that could be a bit disingenuous, but I think if you're hiding, kind of all the low marked ratings and reviews from everywhere on your website, then that probably I would definitely agree with is disingenuous, and you want to have a good mix. I've seen a few reports that definitely show that it's really important to have those negative reviews and show how they've been dealt with. Because ultimately that makes you look real, and I think ultimately if people know that you do deal with problems when they happen in a good way, then they're more likely to trust you and buy from you. But I think in this particular example where, like some of the Glasses Direct ones that we mentioned, if you're, for example, filtering out, 1 or 2 stars in there, I don't see that as a problem, because, you want to be showing people in that block your most popular products. So, I think that's personally fine. But if you did want to do that, then, yeah, the options are definitely there to do so.
That's great. Thanks, Tom. So there was a recent ruling, asks the next question, by the CMA on potentially misleading high-pressure selling tactics used by some travel websites. How
Yeah.
can retailers use information on how often a product has been looked at or purchased in an authentic way in their marketing?
Yeah, I remember reading that. There was definitely a couple of the big ones that got in a bit of trouble, I think. Um, from how it works on our side, it is absolutely, it's real data that we're always using. You have the control within the system to talk about the different timeframes that you want to use. So, you could say someone has recently viewed this product, whether that recently means that it's within 24 hours or within a week, ultimately is the retailer's decision to make. I think, if you're saying is viewing now or has browsed today, then yeah, you absolutely have to make sure that that content is real and is genuine, because the last thing that you want to be doing is misleading consumers. There's obviously definitely going to be some backlash from that, as there recently has been. But yeah, with us again, you have the full control to put those kind of rules in place to make sure that obviously the numbers that people are seeing are real. Equally, if there's one person viewing this product, depending on what it might be, if it's a mega expensive luxury holiday, then maybe that would be enough to trip you over. But if it's a normal kind of fashion retailer or what have you, then you probably don't want to show that only one person's looking at it. Maybe you want to put a filter in to say over 50 people have looked at it, as an example. Again, you have the control to do that.
That's great. That's useful to know. In your presentation, you mentioned a few different types of product recommendations, but which rules have you seen work best?
Well, it's always a tricky one, because there's not really a kind of one size fits all. I think the crucial thing with product recommendations, and probably a trap that a lot of people fall into, is using the same thing. So I'm going to show top purchased or top browsed products with very little kind of filtering past that point in on my homepage, on my product pages, in all my emails. When of course people are going to behave with the content that you're showing them in different ways depending on what stage of the buying journey that they're at. So, on a home page, the first recommendation block that you want to see, yes, absolutely do have, the top purchased or the top trending products. That totally makes sense. But maybe on a product page, or where I've seen this work really well, both on product pages and in browse abandon triggers in particular, is we have an AI rule, which is called after people viewed this product, they then went on to buy this product. So, the idea of that obviously being when someone is, at that browsing stage, they haven't, got to the point where they're confident enough to put something into their cart. They need a kind of an extra push almost. So showing those products, that people have then gone on to buy after viewing, it just kind of cuts out hopefully an extra step in that. Obviously, if you're combining that with the social proof tactics that we've mentioned, a high star rated product that someone has gone on to buy after they were looking at the product that you're looking at, hopefully that kind of cuts down the user journey and gets that consumer to go to the purchase quicker. It's definitely a good example that I've seen a lot of success with recently. I think kind of just on product recommendations in general as well, and kind of social proof, I've seen more including social proof in general. We've done a lot of split tests with some of our clients who've taken on the integration with their various providers. Obviously, people want to prove that it's working. And it's interesting that maybe if you're doing a kind of one test where you have ratings and reviews on, one where you have it off, with cart abandon, it's maybe something like 60-40 in favor of having the ratings and reviews, but with browse abandon, it is much more successful having them in there. Maybe something like 70-30 as a kind of ballpark average. Because of exactly the reasons I just said. I think people need that kind of extra push when they're at the browsing stage. So showing these are good rated products that you're looking at definitely works.
That's great. Some interesting findings there. Well, Tom, that brings us to the end of our Q&A session and to the end of today's webinar. And I'd like to end by thanking you for being with us today. Thanks, Tom.
Thanks very much. Thanks everyone for listening.
So that's Tom Rickards, Account Director at French Relevance. And thanks also to you, our listeners, for tuning in today and for your questions. As always, we'll follow up by email with a link to the on-demand webinar that you can listen again to at your convenience. But for the moment, thank you once again for taking part in this webcast, and goodbye.